Hello, I am Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz, December 28, 2017, 1:25 a.m., Birmingham. And topic is, I want to go over some of what I just read to you and try to make sense of who we might be seeing in the near future. But I also want to bring up another comment that a lot of people's asked, and I've heard this asked many times from a lot of people. I mean, I've heard Jim Baker ask the very same thing of Tom Horn and people like that. This very question that I'm going to answer for you. But again, when Enoch goes to the throne room to God, he had to go in a dream because he couldn't physically go there. So God put him in a deep sleep, and God revealed everything as if he had gone there physically. So Enoch was able to convey exactly the things he felt and saw on the way. And but the answer that he got there, that was to go back and here are your answer to the watcher angels that fell. I got even more out of it the second time. That's about the 9th or 10th time I've read it over the years. But just now I got more out of it. So I want to pass that along if you don't mind. And but then addressing me, he spoke and said, "Hear, neither be afraid, O righteous Enoch. Enoch, you scribe of righteousness, approach hither and hear my voice. Go say to the watchers of heaven." So he's telling him to go tell the watcher angels who have sent you to pray for them, because they ought to pray for men, and not men for them. So wherefore have you forsaken the lofty and holy heavens, which endures forever, and have lain out with women, have defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, have taken yourselves wives who acted like the sons of the earth, and begotten impious, I said imperious, for offerings which are giants. All your offspring were giants. I'm sorry, I said offspring. I mean offspring. But you being spiritual, holy, possessing a life that is eternal, have polluted yourselves with women, and have begotten in carnal blood. You have lusted in the blood of men, and have done as those who are in the flesh and blood do. So he said, you are made to last forever and live forever for eternity in the heavens, but yet you decide to go down and act like a man. And he's explaining that to them, and they know that it's not a hard thing to think about. I mean, look, he said, the reason I put man on earth is because they're flesh and blood. They die. You are not. So they have to procreate. You don't. So I gave them wives to procreate, because when they die, they have sons that carry on, and they'll continue to replenish the earth, because they'll die along the way, and the sons will be born, and then they'll continue to create. But you have no need for that in heaven, because you'll never die. There's no need to procreate. In other words, there must be a lot of angels in heaven, in the billions. So God conveyed that to Enoch so he could give that to the angels. But God did go on to say what the offspring, the dead offspring, were going to be, and that's evil spirits. Now, questions I have heard Jim Baker say to Tom Horn, and he says, Tom, is it possible? I got my I don't know what's wrong here. When I turn on and put a picture up there, when I go back to the video, it's always dark. I hope it clears up later. But anyway, he says, Tom, can an angel today have sex with a woman? Well, the answer to that is, if the watcher angels did, then I'm sure the angels today can do the same thing. But would they? I doubt that seriously. I believe they would be yanked out of there so quick, even at the thought of it. So no, the angels that fell with Satan, they made up their mind to sin. They made up their mind to do what they were going to do. But they didn't consider the after effects. They really didn't. It was the lust that got them. But again, there's a certain number of people on this planet, of everyone that's ever lived, that's not going to go to God anyway. And there's going to be fewer people in heaven. So if you take the population of this planet today, I would bet you there'll be less than a half, probably less than, if you compare it to heaven, less than 2/3 of the people on this planet, maybe even a third of people on this planet will go to heaven. That's a high figure, that a third of the people will go to heaven. Remember, even 2/3 of the Jews will be cut off at the days when the Antichrist goes in to the temple and desecrates it. 2/3 of the Jews will die. So that leaves a third. So in my estimation, there'll be a third of the people that'll come through the fire that'll make it into heaven. And I'm talking about from creation till now. So when he talked about the demonic spirits, he said they will all be demonic spirits. And they'll be eternal. They'll be somewhere. And so the spirits of the giants shall be like clouds, which shall oppress, corrupt, fall, content, and bruise upon the earth. The Greek words for clouds here, I can't pronounce that word, Nepilos, may disguise a more ancient reading of Nephilim. They shall cause lamentation. No food shall they eat, and they shall be thirsty. They shall be concealed. That means not seen, but yet they can enter into a body and possess a body. That may be their way. You still can't see them. You see a person's body, but you can't see them. That may be who we will see. But also keep in mind about being concealed. Keep in mind one thing here, that it is man who continues the practice that the watcher angels started when they came here, of mating, of crossing and mixing DNA from them to everything, and from man that lived here on earth and crossing their DNA with animals. This is the things that we will see when the aliens come down. I say come down, when they appear. They'll be hybrids. They'll be made of men, by men, of men, between man and animal, men and insect, men and fish. This is what we're going to see. But these things will be inhabited by these spirits of the dead giants that will be here, that will be left here. And again, lamentation, I know you know what that means. It's a passionate expression of grief or sorrow. Well, a book of the Bible telling the desolation of Judah after the fall of Jerusalem in 586 BC. Now, he's telling that of the fallen, of the spirits that are left here that are demonic. The passionate expression of grief or sorrow and weeping. That's what they feel all the time. And even when they enter into the body of a man or woman, they can't drink. They don't experience the thirst. So whatever makes them continue to be evil, just like their fathers, which were the fallen watcher angels, I don't know. But I believe this is as far as it goes. There's nothing coming from beyond the sun, beyond the, planets, and in other words, other galaxies that's going to come here and say, hey, we're your forefathers. I mean, they may do that, and they're flying the ships that are man-made, that we made. They're made by us. They're not made by aliens. Keep in mind, the only ones here are the demonic spirits. That's the only thing here left. There aren't fallen angels that are here. Now, they will remake, and they probably already have, and that's Nimrod, but when they come, they're not aliens from distant galaxies. That's not going to happen. The only thing out there are the angels that God put in place is lights. A lot of these things you see that you think are galaxies or planets are not. They're angels. In the rings of Saturn, they have discovered by this big telescope out there that's looking at these things, that there seems to be an extra big rock or something floating around these rings, but it's keeping the rings in place. Well, that may be simply an angel that's keeping the rings of Saturn in place. But then I also read that God has placed everything in an order, and it doesn't get out of that order. That includes Saturn, that includes Jupiter and the other planets in the rings, of these planets. And last, the Revelation 12 sign ended on the 20th. It's ended, it's over. That'll never return. But the time for the rest of the things fall into place and fully complete the generations is during the month of March 2018. So I wanted to tell you some of this stuff. They shall oppress, corrupt, fall, content, and bruise upon the earth. And they'll be demonic spirits. And that's what they'll be. Jesus cast out demonic spirits. He said, who are you? I'm Legion. We are many. Well, he said, many, get out of this man. And they went into pigs, and the pigs went crazy and jumped off a bluff. Well, demonic spirits have to inhabit something. And whoever they or whatever they inhabit, they're usually not nice. So I think this is all playing up to be the disclosure when it happens. Jody Wolf Expoz.